teenage boy hit and killed by a truck in Sydney's west. Prime Minister Morrison mingles with allies on his first international trip in the top job. Hollywood stars and a former president stop to say goodbye to an icon. And the Knights have a disappointing loss in their final match of the season.
This is NBN News with Tyson Cottrill.
Good evening. They're sickening claims an elderly dementia patient's carer accused of punching and slapping her, leaving her badly bruised. Police have now charged a woman after a neighbour called them with concerns.
Alicia Goronsky was paid to keep Gladys Buchanan safe, but last night police allege her care became abusive.
It's disturbing. It's absolutely disturbing. I feel sick to my stomach. A poor lady, defenceless, with no way to communicate to the outside world.
Neighbour Steve Leibold rang police after he heard yelling at the Thirroul home. What made you call the police last night?
It was the sustained verbal abuse that I could hear through the double brick masonry wall.
Upon arrival, officers looked through a back window and allegedly saw the dementia patient fall over and her carer punch her in the thigh.
There's an allegation that once she fell, she's obviously tried to regain her composure, and her legs were taken out from underneath her by the younger lady. Very upsetting to see an elderly person treated in that way.
Gladys Buchanan was brought here to Wollongong Hospital, where she's being treated for bruising to her face and legs. Arrangements are now being made for alternative accommodation and a new carer for the dementia patient. Alicia Goronsky is now on bail, but isn't allowed to go near her former patient. Police say without the tip-off, it might have been a different story.
Huge relief. I mean, I don't think I realised how much of a burden it was having that going on next door, and until it was quiet.
Prime Minister Scott Morrison is heading home tonight after his first overseas trip as PM. He held trade talks with our closest neighbour, Indonesia, and it was a good sign when they seemed to enjoy a friendly encounter.
A table for two and a sunset view. Although Joko Widodo has been here before, a week after becoming Australia's Prime Minister, Scott Morrison is given the same treatment as former US President Barack Obama.
He's a very easy fellow to have a chat with. We swap pictures of kids and dogs.
Australia's ScoMo and Indonesia's Jokowi finding they have more in common than nicknames. And socially navigating that awkward topic, why the President's old mate Malcolm Turnbull wasn't there.
We're all politicians. We all face elections. He's facing one next year. I'm facing one next year. And so we all understand the volatilities of politics.
So it was cheers to a new friendship and an agreement to strengthen ties. The Indonesian economy is accelerating and Australia wants to go along for the ride. The two countries have upgraded their relationship, agreeing to work more closely on security and economic issues and commit to a free trade agreement that's expected to kick in 2020.
All of this is meaning that Australian companies and the people who work for those companies can get a better go in the international market.
Scott Morrison's visit with Joko Widodo has captured attention back home and here in Indonesia, making it onto the front of the Jakarta Post. International relations experts say that while it is important the two leaders have found a connection, what will be crucial is the follow-up from here. The Prime Minister is on his way home, where there will be other headlines waiting. Julie Bishop indicating she'll recontest her seat at the next election.
I believe the country needs stability and continuity at present. And in the past week, I've received overwhelming support from my electorate urging me to stay. And I think their interests come first.
And Home Affairs Minister Peter Dutton being ridiculed for granting visas to two international au pairs with links to people he knew.
Who would have thought that such an arch-conservative inspiration to the Institute of Public Affairs was secretly working towards a nanny state?
Fiona Willan, NBN News.
He was just 200 metres from home. A 16-year-old boy who was trying to cross a busy street in Sydney's west hit and killed by a truck. The driver has today been freed on bail, while the teen's death has caused renewed anger about a problem intersection.
2 black school shoes among ambulance supplies left littered across the ground after paramedics tried desperately to save the life of a 16-year-old boy. The teen was trying to cross Busy Chapel Road when he was hit by a truck.
Oh, it's tragic. We care about, we feel sorry to the family.
It's believed the boy could have been walking between cars and was on the median strip when the truck made a right turn at Edward Street and crashed into him just before 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon.
Every afternoon here, about from 4 o'clock to 6:30, it's like Russian roulette. So what we do, we drive my family up that way to get the banks down because it's just too dangerous here.
I was expecting this for a long time. A few times I got the chance of applying for a few things.
The 16-year-old was walking towards his home and was just 200 metres away when he was hit. He was taken to Liverpool Hospital but sadly died a short time later.
Very nice boy. Exactly like his parents, very nice boy. That's very sad.
As those who knew the teen left tributes, 43-year-old truckie George Kyriakidis faced court. He's been charged with dangerous and negligent driving, occasioning death, and for not keeping left of the median strip. His lawyers successfully arguing for bail, offering a surety of $100,000.
This is a dreadful and tragic set of circumstances which will have a profound and everlasting impact on a number of families.
A woman has become victim to a brazen carjacking in a terrifying encounter at Wallsend overnight. The incident happened in a side street before 2 offenders fled the scene in a stolen car. Stephen Mount reports.
Around 7:45 last night, a 59-year-old woman left Wallsend Bowling Club and went to her car in Foggo Street, where she was approached by an armed woman at her driver's side window. Police say the unidentified offender threatened her with a weapon before demanding she hand over the vehicle. The woman complied and the offender left the scene in her car with an unidentified male driver. They were last seen heading east along Kakera Street. The owner of the vehicle didn't suffer any physical injuries and alerted police. Her car is a grey 2012 Mazda 300 with New South Wales registration CGJ25Y. The male driver is approximately 183 centimetres tall with a slim build, unshaven and wearing a grey hoodie. The female passenger is estimated to be in her late 20s with a slim build, brown hair in plaits and tan complexion. She was wearing a black jumper and dark coloured pants. Police are urging anyone with information to come forward.
Stephen Mount reporting there. It was the winter bushfire which put the community of Port Stephens on edge, but thankfully no homes or lives were lost. 2 weeks on, Lemon Tree Passage residents have come together to say thanks to those who volunteered on the front line and behind the scenes.
Showing their appreciation for our fireys on the front line.
It's just to show our respect and our sincere gratitude for what some brave volunteers did in order to keep our town safe and to make sure that we were all safe.
We're here today, thankfully, with a positive story. It could have been something quite different, but we're all very grateful for the work of so many people.
Just a fortnight ago, around 70 blazes were burning across the state. The fire season in the Hunter has officially been brought forward a month starting today. Local firefighters are predicting it could be one of the worst yet.
I think this year's going to be pretty bad. We don't really have enough young volunteers. Most of the volunteers are probably up there. I'd be one of the oldest, of course, but we could do with some new volunteers.
The Rural Fire Service is urging people to have a solid bushfire action plan in play for the summer ahead. This includes cleaning leaves out of gutters, monitoring timber around the home, and keeping a watchful eye on bushfire alerts. Lauren Kemp, NBN News.